Hello, people of the internet. I would like to thank you again for all the comments and messages that you sent me on the previous videos. It really made my day. So let's jump right ahead and work on something new. For today, we have this issue. It sounds like a feature, but actually we are going to fix a bug here. So sometimes when sending a large file from our Copper servers to Pulp, sometimes it happens that we get this very ugly traceback, which is 400 bad request, which sounds like we sent an incorrect payload or something, but that's not true. Everything is correct. It just timeouts, and Pulp returns this 400 error instead of what we would probably expect is, I think 408 is timeout, and there is, I think, also some 500 timeout. We would expect either of those, but they return 400. We consulted this with the Pulp team, and from their point of view, the 400 makes sense because because it timeouts, they don't receive the whole payload, and therefore the payload is corrupted, and therefore it looks like a bad request to them, which makes total sense. So they return 400. For us, the 400 doesn't really make sense because we sent the request correctly, or at least we created it correctly on our side and trying to send it. So of course we won't force them to change the status code, but we don't really even care about the status code. I think we know the situation when this happens. We know we should handle it correctly, and if it's 400, 408, 50 something, I don't really care personally. The thing is, in Copper, we have, in our code base, we have something called save request. I don't know if we can find in the traceback. Maybe not. I will show in the code later. We have something called save request, and it has error handling. And if it errors out with particular error or status codes, then the save request object tries to send the request again and again and again. Of course, there is some delays between the attempts and so on. And so we don't DDoS the servers. And this approach worked for us very well for a very long time. So we are happy about that. It just doesn't work in this particular scenario because we don't repeat the 400s, because 400 means you are sending, like, the request is incorrect on the client side, basically. So why repeating it? 400, like, repeating it should always lead to 400 again and again. So that's why we don't repeat on this very case. Anyway, we should handle it somehow. One last thing, idea about that. If you watched some previous episodes of this series, we worked on chunked uploads to Pulp, and this could be related to it actually. So maybe the idea is to, if we get the 400, we could try to repeat it, which may lead to a good result or may not. Or we can fall back and actually use the chunked upload in this case. And personally, I think that would be the best idea. So let's do just that. I think the Pulp team will play with the timeouts a little bit, so we shouldn't get this error, but I guess we will eventually. So eventually we will need to somehow handle it, and retrying could work in some cases, but may not in some other cases. And what we are going to do, repeat it like 100 times, or repeat it five times and fail the build? Like, do we want to fail the build even though it built successfully? It just couldn't upload to the storage. I don't like that very much. I think we should try, and if it fails with this ugly error, we should catch it, and we should use the chunked uploads that we implemented earlier this week, the last week, sorry. So let's do just that. Okay, we need to find in what branch the chunked upload was implemented, because I don't remember. So this is a draft. We have some feedback here, outdated because we addressed it. I don't know if it was on a video or not. So yeah, I remember everything here was actually addressed, and okay, this was new linter issues, but never mind. We will not work on like fixing this pull request. We just want to check it out. So it's Pulp chunked uploads. Let's jump here. Do I have some secrets here or not? That's always the question, right? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Now let's clear the screen. Git checkout Pulp chunked uploads. Seems like I have some new commit here. Okay, it's just a documentation change. That's fine. If we take a look at, yep, okay, so this is the pull request. There's some work in progress commit and another work in progress commit. Okay, what if we just squash this so that all the changes related to implementing the chunked upload is done? And we are on that branch, so we can use it whenever we need to. And we need to figure out how to reproduce the issue, which I've actually done before this recording, and before it I had a meeting, and before that I did this reproducer. So this build is local build, and it failed with the same exact issue. So we are going to run this build one more time in my one more time interactively, so we can see it and confirm it fails again with the same error. Okay, so we are going to run a single build, so we have this command for that. This is the build ID, and the truth is the same, right? Let's run it. So, by the way, I couldn't reproduce it against my local Pulp instance. I needed to reproduce it against the staging instance of the Pulp. So, even though I'm running this build locally, I'm not going to upload the results into the local Pulp container that I'm running. I will upload the results, or try to upload the results, to the actual staging instance somewhere in the clouds. So yeah, okay, this is running. As you can see, we are communicating with an actual instance. And we are, oh, yeah, let's kill this. So because we are on the chunked uploads branch, I remember there is a code that we marked with to do, and the code was this. So we had some logic whether a standard upload should be used or the chunked upload should be used, and I put the false here so that we can finish this later and make the proper decision. So currently we are doing only the chunked upload. So let's switch this to true. So we won't reproduce the issue actually. So let's switch this to true, run again. Now the standard upload is going to be done, not the chunked one. And therefore we should be able to reproduce this. We also switched to the pink Red Bull today instead of our standard Monster, because I think this should have a little bit less caffeine in it. And that should be enough for me. We will see. Alright, so what is happening right now? We are uploading. And we are not chunk uploading. That's right. Now, are we going to get the 400 somewhere here? I'm hoping, because otherwise I have no idea what we are going to do about this. So we are modifying the repository. I mean, this looks... I'm not sure in what exact stage the 400 appeared when this was done in production and when I reproduced it earlier today. So I'm still hoping, but this looks like maybe we are past the point where it would fail. Let's see, so let's scroll back. Yeah, this looks like a successful upload, right? Because I don't see any errors here. Now this completely threw me off guard, because I was convinced we have the correct reproducer and we can just fix the issue. Well, isn't it how it always goes? So what we are going to do now? Let's not panic. Let's try to run it one more time. If this goes through, I think our next course of action should probably be checking out the main branch and trying again. Because I definitely reproduced it today. I can maybe, while we are waiting, try to scroll back the log output and trying to find it. See? I'm not kidding. This is a local container. At 11 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock, so this was, right, do the math. And we got the bad request from the upload results to storage. So we can even locate the code now while waiting for the other the reproducer to finish. So it's the background worker build. Let's keep this opened. Background worker build on the line 683. Right, so this upload build results. This fails. Next, it goes into the upload build results, so we can jump into it. We have the storage file on the left, so let's take a look there. So storage 424, it's here. Yeah, the lines are a little bit different because it was on the main branch and not the branch we are currently at. But basically it called upload RPM, which is 402, upload RPM, right, which called Pulp. Let's open Pulp somewhere. Pulp on the line. I know it's 242, but that's sent. I don't want this one, that's too deep. I want this one, 363. So here, create content. This failed. Right. So this is all right. So we are very close. Yeah, we are very close to the chunked uploads. Like here we have the chunked upload variant, and this is the standard variant. Right. I think even if we don't reproduce the issue, we could blindly maybe try to implement it, and then just deploy it on the stage and hope it gets triggered. So let's try to look at our reproducer again. Our reproducer is at here, and it just finished, successfully. I mean, this is below the belt. All right. So let's do it blindly and hope for the best, basically. We are of course going to do some. No, we are not going to do that just yet. We are going to do the last attempt, which is going to be, we are going to check out main, and we are going to run this once again from the main branch. So at this point, the chunked upload shouldn't even be implemented. So if we search for chunk, see, nothing here. All right. So this was from the main branch. Now there is another possibility that the reason why we cannot reproduce it right now is not because of the branch, but because we are not running it through the dispatcher daemon, but we are running it interactively without the daemon. Maybe that plays a little bit of a difference. I have no idea. Either way, if it was playing the difference, that doesn't help us because we cannot easily use debugger when running it through the daemon. So we would need to printf debug it, and that's annoying and so on. So that wouldn't play a difference. We would basically implement it blindly and then test on stage anyway. So this is the last experiment, and then we are going to do some coding. In the meantime, I'm going to scroll back in the log container so we can see the traceback again, so we can blindly work on it, but it doesn't really matter, we have the same traceback in the issue as well. So let's jump back here. This is insanely slow. Also, is it possible that I may be running the incorrect build? Could I be that stupid? Of course I could. Let's take a look at this. So this was finished, failed through. Okay, so this was this build ID. So yeah, hopefully the traceback here is related to the error here. Not sure. If we scroll down a little, the build, yeah, here is another build ID. So if we go 77, yeah, that seems to be the same one, right? Yeah, that's the same one. So we are reproducing the correct. How is it still running? We are reproducing the correct ID. Yeah, okay. How is it still running? What is it doing actually? Oh, right. We are waiting for a task to finish. So that it was running on the Pulp side, not our side. I thought we are still uploading something that wouldn't make sense to me. But this was basically waiting for a task to finish on the Pulp side. All right. So we don't have a reproducer. Well, let's just try our best. So git checkout back this one. Here is the chunked upload, and this is the one that fails. So I think we shouldn't probably do something like try here, and if it fails, call this one, because those should be two isolated functions that don't know about each other. So I think in the storage class here, where we have this pretty condition, we should handle the case. So is it possible that we are not going to do the size-based condition at all, but instead we are going to do try except? That wouldn't be so bad, right? So let's keep it as is, and what I imagine in my head is basically try the normal upload except exception as exception, and in that case do the chunked one. We are not going to handle a case if this tracebacks, because let's assume it doesn't. It's possible it will, because we are uploading the chunks. But I think if we chunk it properly, I don't know, if we figure out this size properly, it is possible that it won't trace back. And if it traces back in one case out of billion, then I don't care. Basically, we are not treating people's lives here. It will fail the build, we will restart the build, it will work. So we don't have to do the error handling that hardcore. We can just try the normal one and it fails, try the chunked one and assume this works, because it will the majority of the time, large majority of the time. All right, so now we don't definitely want to just accept the whole exception, because that's everything, including syntax errors here in this block and so on. So definitely not going to do that. We are going to take a look at the traceback. So this is request error. This is request error. Okay. We can accept then a request error. We can put a debugger here so that we can examine what's inside of it, but we need to run it somehow. What if we modify the code of the standard create content and change it so that we don't send any files, for example? That should give us 400, right? Files will be none, right? So we just created a bug temporarily that will give us 400 from this create content function. We will catch the exception from the 400 from the call, and we will examine it. So back here, let's try to run this command again, and in the meantime I will find some music to listen to. So let's do just this. By the way, are you able to program while there is a silence in the room, or do you always listen to something like me? I sometimes do music, I sometimes do like TV show on a off screen. Not off screen, second screen, sorry. So let's wait. We should get, I see 400 here. Oh yeah, that was a bad reproducer, because you can see it's 400 for 500, 500 again, and 500 again. So we are retrying through the save request interface. So okay, so but that was for that is giving us 500 for some reason. I would expect the validation would give us something else. Either way, so what if we, for example, uploads and try again? And now it needs to definitely be 404, right? There is no way this ends differently than 404. Okay, Okay, so what is happening? 405, and we get the breakpoint. That's exactly what we wanted. Good. Now ppx is a request error, right? And what do we know about that? So do we have the request here? We don't. Do we have the response here? We have the whole response to work with. That's perfect. So we can do response status code, for example. So we could definitely do something like if status code equals 400, then we do this, right? If not, else, we could basically erase a request error from exception. Can we do this? I think we can do this. So is there something else that could basically help us? I mean, we have access to headers. Did I just leak any tokens? I don't know. I will probably censor this just to be sure. Anyway, we have access to headers. That would be helpful if we know the exact headers we got here, because maybe there was a header saying that there was some timeout. We cannot see it in our currently reproduced error. Maybe it would be useful to do something like response text, basically response JSON, and that's maybe the interesting piece, because I think they don't even return JSON when this happens. I think I don't have anything more in the log, right? It's for bad request. I think it doesn't actually log the body. Finish build. Yeah, that's sad. We don't have enough information here. We will have to do. We are going to do just the status comparison. If it's 400 in this very special case, we are going to do this, and we are going to log some additional information. Self log info standard pulp upload failed with 400 trying chunked upload. That's too long of a line, right? Yeah, that's more than 80 characters. Let's wrap it. And this is still more than 80 characters. Oh my god. I think this is good. This is 81. That's fine. So we are going to do something like chunked upload this. Now the response was %s. And we are going to log the response, which is going to be this, right? So that once this happens, we can go back to our logs and check out the body and improve this condition, so it happens only if it's 400, and some specific circumstances, like maybe the text contains some error message that we expect, or maybe the body is not JSON or something. We don't know just yet. We will know once we see the log in the production scenario where it actually fails. So in this case, we are going to do this. Now, so it is not this much indented, we could reverse the logic. So if exception is not 400, then we can raise, and otherwise we can do this, right? Makes sense? So we can move the upload word here and do period here like this. This looks prettier. Good. Now we can continue the standard route that we normally do. All right. So I think we should be able to kill this. Why don't, yeah, it finished. Nice. So we can try to run this again, and we still have the bug here. So it should try, it should fail, it should try the chunked upload, and that one should finish. Yep, this takes quite a lot of time before the build actually starts, so it's a bit boring. Now we failed for some reason, and funnily enough, we failed with that exact. No, I think the exception just looks very similar because it's from the same place, but it's not the original reproducer. Yeah, we are failing because the 405, that's expected, but then we are failing while handling the failure. Those are my favorite kind of failures. So we are missing a positional argument message. Or massage. So this is where? This is 414 in this file. 414 here. How is it possible? It is here. Raise, yeah. Okay, so this is incorrect syntax. This is incorrect syntax. Okay. So could we do just the X? I think this is the best. Yeah, I think this will be the way to go. Let's try again. I originally thought that the missing missing parameter was in the log line, which was like there was one argument and 1%s, and I passed one argument, so I was like, no way. But yeah, that was definitely this line. Okay, so let's see. And we got another exception. All right, seems like from the very same place. So how is it possible? Yeah, sorry, I'm just dumb because we are expecting 400 here, but our reproducer basically does 405, which does the error. So let's try again. This way of implementing the feature is a little bit sketchy, right? You can see that. I don't like to do it this way, but it's easier than the alternative, which would be like probably developing this directly on the stage on the stage server where the error happens. I think the proper way of doing this would be unit tests, right? We should have done TDD here. Yeah, I can see that. So what happens here? Okay, we moved forward. Has no attribute info. Where? Oh, right. Because not self info but self log info. Which means we got past this, right? Let's try again. Now, once this finishes, we need to put 400 here and fix the bug here, and we should deploy this on the staging machine and try again. And I will probably write some unit tests for this afterwards. It will be much smarter to write them beforehand and test this with TDD, but since we are in the middle of it, I don't want to start writing the tests now, because either way we need to finish the video soon, so I would like to have this working. And by the way, I think we are doing chunked uploads right now. I think I want to have this feature working, and I will write the test afterwards to make sure. But yeah, the response was 405, so we switched to the chunked uploads interface. And if we take a look, did we log something actually? So yeah, standard Pulp upload failed with 400, trying chunked upload. The 400 is hard-coded, we should probably make it a parameter. But it's not that important. Trying chunked upload, and the response was, so once we have this in production, we can definitely adjust it as we need. So if we do %s also here and put this here, then I think we have the code, we have the status code dynamically, even though it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so what if what if we fix this and fix this? And what if we also remove this? Now, should here be to do with this, with the get file size anymore? Or we just don't care? I think we just don't care. We don't care. This could be implemented if it fails frequently. That we care though. We care because like we don't want to try uploading 5 gigabytes of data just to fail in the middle and then upload them again but chunked, while we from the very beginning know 5 gigs is too much. So let's keep this to do, and we will change this a little in the future to first check the file size, then do this, and if the file size is too big, then just do this. We will do that later. I think this is good enough for now. Now let's check the code right now. So we have this. This is the only change that we did. I mean, it was a bug fix, so let's call this backend catch 400 from the timeouted Pulp uploads, and this will fix this issue, and this will fix also, this will not fix the issue, but it will be related to this issue. So see this issue, catch 400 from timeouted Pulp uploads. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I think we should, yeah, this is still running. I think this test was good enough, probably. I think we should go here and build source RPM from the latest commit. So we should be able to do git show, and this, yeah, this is our fix. So copper build /copper this source RPM. Let's build it. We will build this in production copper. Right, so we are building the copper frontend from our code change. This shouldn't take long. We are probably wastefully building it for these truths because I'm only interested in the 41 right now, but let's live with that. Now, once this finishes, and I'm also doing something completely stupid because this is front end, but our change was on back end, right? So this doesn't really make sense. Let's go to back end and do the same. So, and let's do the same. Ditto build source RPM test, copper build, but the backend one. Backend. Okay, let's open this build, and if this is, we can cancel it though. Maybe it will finish before I can cancel it. So Okay, we are here. I think we can finish it though, because it's 1 minute and the build takes minute 30. That's fine. Okay, but we are more interested in the backend build, of course. And if we jump on an SSH for the backend development instance, I hope there isn't anything secret. Almost. Right, this looks good. I don't see any secrets here. All right, let's clear the screen though. So this is still building. All right, let's jump back to our local instance. What's happening here? So this is returning. All right. Fuck. I remember there is a bug in Pulp. And the bug is related to what? Remind me, someone, please. There is a bug returning 500. I can find it on Slack in a off recording. Give me a sec. I will find you the bug. So this is the issue. Copy link. I can close this. I can jump here. Right. So this is the bug that synchronous endpoint for upload is raising errors. And I commented the exact traceback here. Now, they are clearly working on it. 2 days ago. Nice. So there is a pull request open. And this was the reason why we didn't actually merge the chunked upload pull request on the Copper side, because it's bugged on the Pulp side, and we are waiting for the fix to finish the testing before we can merge our pull request. So that's why we are getting the 500s here. That's this exact problem. So we will not get a successful build when testing on the staging machine. That doesn't matter though. What we are after is not a successful build. What we are after is not a 400 error because of the timed upload. So we are isolating on this exact problem, nothing else. Now we still need to wait for this to finish. So for Fedora 41, because our staging instance is still on Fedora 41. Sorry you all for that. We are going to update soon. We will definitely update before it goes end of life, but we have been quite slow with that. Our builders are on Fedora 42, or maybe even 43 now. I'm not sure. I think 42 still, because there it is a bit relevant to users what version we use, because they sometimes need the new features, but users don't care basically what Fedora version our servers runs on, because there is nothing like relevant to them. Only version of the Copper packages, not the servers itself. So that's why we didn't rush the Fedora 42 upgrade. We are basically going to be skipping the Fedora 42 upgrade. We are going straight to Fedora 43. We always skip one release on our servers. So this takes so long. What the hell is happening? Oh, it finished. All right, so we should get a successful message soon. Right, it finished. Good. So if we go here and we take the backend RPM, and we go to SSH for the Copper backend, and we DNF install this exact RPM from our code. You can install it. We can system still restore the target, and we can tail our logs. Now we need to, this is localhost, right? We want to go to the Copper staging server. We want to log in. Sure. Sure. What if we create a new project? So let's go back to Copper, our main terminal, and somewhere I created, yeah, this is what I have done to test the issue locally. And you can see I used my local token. Let's use staging instance. So we successfully created a new Copper project on the staging instance that uses its storage in Pulp. So we can now submit a build, and we can submit a build that is from dist-git, and we can do hello just to make sure the project is created correctly. And we can submit a new build from distribution GPG keys. This is the problematic package. So we expect this hello package to succeed because this shouldn't generate any issues, and therefore it should go through. And we expect the other one to fail, but we expect it to try this, fail, then print this, and then fail when trying to do the chunked upload. We expect it to fail with 500. We've seen the traceback in the Pulp issue tracker. Right, so this is pending, and we can open the other one so we can refresh them both. By the way, I have maybe 10 more minutes, so doesn't matter how this goes, if it goes the way we expect it to, or if we failed somewhere in our code, our reproducer, our whatever. It doesn't matter. I have maybe 10 more minutes, then I have to go, even if this is not finished. Sorry about that, but what can we do? Now I'm very curious how this ends up. So is there so few machines, like virtual machines for builders on the stage machine, or what's wrong? Because like we are running just one at the time. We can take a look at the queue, but seems like one is running and nothing else, so this is weird. Okay, so this one, the hello failed. Yeah, well, that's not good. What happened? Alright, so it failed regardless of... Oh, it failed because of waiting for the repository. Now, this is weird because either Pulp is slow, or we have some bug in our code, irrespective of what we did today somewhere else. We can try the regenerate button, which is what it recommended to us, and we can try this again, and we can try to run the hello package again. Now let me take a look into the logs on the backend. So do we see... We should take a look at the actions log and not tail it, but open it. Now this was this project. So action create repo, executing, action this action. Now we can see this finished with success. If we do ended with, all right, so success and success. So this looks to me, Pulp was maybe just too slow. That shouldn't happen, but maybe it was the case. Now this failed, I expect for the same reason. Yep, giving up the weight here. So okay, now this failed again and the same error. So there is definitely some other issue that we didn't consider. Oh yeah, I think I know why. Because I did some development on the backend that was, oh god, this is production by the way, but nothing secret, no problem. I know what happened. I did some development earlier this week, and I was experimenting with CDN, and that's why it uses the incorrect URL for the repository, and that's why it cannot find it. So if we do this, I just switched it to the correct value and restarted HTTPD. So if we do this git and hello again, now it should succeed. Please, I don't have that much time. Come on. So it's pending. Good, we should know very soon. If it is not the case, I'm bailing out. If it's the case, then we'll try the distribution GPG keys again. Come on, come on, come on. If we take a look at the backend log, I think we got through. I think we should be, yeah, we are building now. That's good. So this works. Let's jump ahead, and maybe it will fail throughout the build, but let's jump ahead and let's try distribution GPG keys. Good. So let's take a look at the hello again and make sure it finishes successfully. Yeah, still learning. All right, what about the other one? Running to, okay. What's the word I wanted to say? I'm just too impatient. I want to see the result. What is happening here? Does it do something? Seems like it. Ooh, no. Alright, seems like it's doing something. No way it takes so long. Do we see anything strange here? Probably not. And this is still building. Okay. Are the builders that slow? I mean, it's staging instance, right? So we probably don't have such a powerful machines as we have in production. I'm not exactly sure. Definitely the servers are slower, which play a difference here, but maybe even the builders are slower. And the hello succeeded. Nice. So this should fail. Do we have our backend logs here? We have them ready, just in case there is something interesting. And we are building. So the build itself shouldn't take long. I think maybe a minute, and then we should get the errors. Because when I reproduced locally, see, it failed within a minute. So the build itself is quite fast. And then we should get a failure during the upload. So let's see. Now, what does this look like? So we are still building the RPM itself, not the upload that happens after the build. So we are going to wait a little longer. Seems like maybe my workstation is a bit more powerful than the VMs that we have. So yeah, we are finishing the build very shortly. So yeah, still the same. This testing part is a lot boring, right? I would typically just put some show on the second monitor and like watch few minutes of the sitcom and then refresh and see the error. So because like it's, you just sit and refresh and nothing interesting happens. So this is still going on. What the hell? I mean, this is already 3 times slower than my computer. Like, what the hell? Yeah, no errors in the backend log still. I'm giving it 1 more minute and then we are going to end on a cliffhanger because I need to go. Alright, this is a cliffhanger. Sorry about that. I didn't want to pull a Netflix trick on you, but yeah, what can we do? Do you think we did it correctly or not? I am hoping so. I have no clue. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully to see you in the next video and see you. Bye bye.